Flames and smoke forcing thousands from their homes and campsites as a wildfire near Yosemite grows bigger and rages out of control for a fifth straight day.
It's like taking a rock, dropping it in a pond, and you splash, and it goes every which way. So that's what this fire is doing.
We have team coverage. Nick James is live in Tuolumne County with the new evacuation orders. Dave Bender's tracking those fire conditions, and Ron Jones is showing us the firefight from the air. Tuolumne County Sheriff's deputies went door to door today, telling people to leave their homes. Good evening. I'm Shannon Bernius.
I'm Sam Shane. Governor Brown declared a state of emergency today. The rim fire tripled in size since yesterday. It has now burned more than 63,000 acres, threatening more than 2,500 structures, and is just 1% contained at this hour. The fire is northeast of Groveland in the Stanislaus National Forest in Tuolumne County. It has closed a 4-mile stretch of Highway 120. It's a main path 120 and one main path into Yosemite National Park on the west side. Nick James is live now with what firefighters are facing tonight. Nick, what's the story there?
Well, Sam, it's a little bit cooler as the sun, of course, has gone down. Winds have died down, but still, this is a very active firefight. If you look over my shoulder here, you might be able to make out that orange glow. About a mile down this road is where this firefight is particularly active tonight, as it is pushing toward a small community in this area. Firefighters are having incredible difficulty dealing with this fire that is growing at a record pace. The rim fire is racing in every direction, raging out of control. The plume of smoke dwarfing everything around it is 40,000 feet tall, with flames, one firefighter told us, 600 feet high. What's your level of concern at this point?
I would say from 1 to 10, 9.
Longtime local Ed Connery is packed and ready to go at a moment's notice. What are you seeing, Ed?
I'm seeing danger. There's trees going up like as if a flamethrower hit them.
And here at the southwest side of the fire, we have 2 fires burning. One on that side, as you'll see that gigantic plume of smoke, and then one just on the other side. The concern for firefighters that as those fires merge, they could come right up this hill, right toward us. Hot spots flared up along Highway 120 near Yosemite, but of major concern is the wildfire's push toward the small community of Pine Mountain Lake. With a few thousand homes not far away, this is one spot firefighters are clearly prepared to take a stand. These dozers here behind me are hard at work, clearing containment lines should the fire hop across the canyon to this side. For the first time, an evacuation order is in place for hundreds of homes in Pine Mountain Lake, with an evacuation advisory in effect for the remaining 2,500 homes. Steve Costa is one of the residents reluctantly leaving.
Got to have the dog with you. Can't leave her home. All right. She's got to go, right, Dakota?
But others are stubbornly ignoring the warnings to leave as an out-of-control inferno creeps closer by the minute. You don't feel like you're in danger?
Not really. And where am I going to go?
According to him, he was the last man on that block. Everybody else, he said, had packed up and moved out. And actually, where we're standing right now is the last spot, Sam, where people are being allowed. Can't drive any farther that way because firefighters say it is just too dangerous, as they are really having trouble getting a handle on this rim fire.
All right, Nick James, obviously a huge fire burning there again tonight. Thanks for the live report.
Ready,
altitude,
drop.
landing gear.
That's a perspective we do not typically see. It's from a crew dropping flame retardant. California Air National Guard crew. They are working the rim fire. They released this video today. It's a point of view aerial video of the drops that they've been doing on the fire. Obviously, the rugged terrain making it very, very difficult. Want to give you a bigger picture of the types of planes that they're using. Over here to my far left, this is a DC-10. It can hold up to 12,000 gallons of retardant. The one problem they have here is it can only refuel in Victorville and at McClellan. So the runs that this plane can make are very limited. Over here, this is a C-130. Now, this carries up to 3,000 gallons, and it can release this in about 5 seconds from those 2 points that you see right there. And this, all of this retardant can actually cover an area of about a quarter of a mile. So these 2 planes are extremely effective, and they are being used in this fire to dump some of that retardant on the blaze. Shannon?
While crews try to get that upper handle on it, now crews did face some gusty winds on the fire fire lines today. We have Dave Bender here with the challenging weather conditions that those firefighters are facing. Yeah, it's topography and weather. A lot of the canyons actually squeezing the wind along and creating even stronger winds. We did see some gusts between about 20 and 25 this afternoon. Winds are laying down here just a little bit tonight, which is good news. As you can see, they've shifted around from the northeast as opposed to the southwest, so they're a little downslopey, but that's okay. Sustained at 3, gusting to 7. A couple of other features here, 65 degrees. That's about 5 degrees cooler than last night during our 10 o'clock news, and the humidity is up by about 20%, so that's some good news. I want to show you something else. We showed you this last night. This, again, is that moisture plume, but you mentioned, or at least what was mentioned by Nick Janes, that the actual smoke plume, that cloud, is 40,000 feet tall. That's why we are picking it up there on the radar loop. It's called a pyrocumulus cloud, which, of course, pyro meaning fire. It is a mixture of smoke, soot, ash, and moisture, and it all creates literally a cumulus cloud, all developed as a result of the fire. There's just no rain coming out of it, but that is what is interesting there, and this is something that is also of continued interest in that area. A air quality alert for the rim fire will go at least through the middle of tomorrow. Most likely that will be extended because that fire is hardly even close to being under control. Ron Jones, firefighters statewide are dealing with a whole lot of this, and you're going to be talking about all the fire situations out there. You're in our newsroom, Ron.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we're talking about the rim fire. Nick Janes, who just saw that video, that's a massive fire that they're dealing with. Firefighters statewide are converging on this, but Dave, we're talking about 10 other major fires taking place throughout the state of California, which is stretching those resources thin. So the State Office of Emergency Services, they tell CBS 13 they're trying to coordinate that fire efforts to try to take care of massive fires such as that one. At the Operations Center in Mather, they dispatched 250 engines and 180 fire rescue personnel and mutual aid personnel already. They're monitoring the 6 regions in the state and transferring resources on an as-needed basis. Several other states have sent firefighters, and the California National Guard is helping out as well.
They've committed 11 helicopters, one strictly for medevac for the firefighters. It's based out of Redding on 24/7 ready to go. And then we've got 10 additional helicopters that are doing everything from firefighting bucket drops to transporting the personnel and supplies.
Well, the chief also tells us they're worried about the rest of the fire season because they're already dealing with twice as many fires in the acreage than normal. Now, we should point this out, too, that now next month, the Santa Ana winds may be pushing its way up here in Northern California, making it even more difficult for firefighters.
All right, Ron, thanks very much. There could be a change in the way massive fires like the rim fire are actually fought. A researcher for the Forest Service says the rim fire is moving so fast because of the brush in that area, and they don't have enough resources to clear it. So instead of focusing on brush clearing, this researcher says the idea is to let the fire do all the work. That way, if it burns again, he says, the fire is easier to manage.
We simply don't have the budget, we don't have the personnel, we don't have enough people anymore to really be able to do the brush clearing and the fuels treatment at the scale that we should be doing it at.
So this researcher is suggesting they would have the fire intentionally burn under the right weather conditions.
And as we've mentioned, this fire is threatening more than 2,500 homes, hotels, and camp buildings, and that includes Camp Tawonga, a Jewish summer camp for kids and teens. Also threatens San Jose Camp, a family summer camp just east of Groveland, and Spinning Wheel, an area filled with vacation rentals and cabins. Bay Area campers on a school trip had to cut their vacation short.
Turning out of camp, you could see the fire just burning on the hill.
I was freaking out. I've never been in a situation like that before.
The buses that took them to safety had already left. Well, they were supposed to take them, so the students then jammed into any vehicles that were there, including a cattle truck and a moving truck. About 1,600 homes are under evacuation orders. One woman in the Pine Mountain community packed up, hoping that her home of 30 years will still be standing when she comes back.
It's such a beautiful area, you know, you hate to think this is the end of it. You just hope for the best, pray for the best, and that's all we can say.
Tuolumne County Sheriff's deputies say they won't force people to leave, but he stressed that this fire poses an imminent threat. Yosemite National Park is still open.